Pierre Arnaud and Marie. You sit down, so Marie will be just in the middle of us. You just wanted some coffee. So, Maison Fragile and Bash represent a wind of novelty that is blowing on the French luxury brand. So, first of all, Marie, you created Maison Fragile in 2017. Your ambition is to renew the porcelain, and you will explain us your success story. Pierre Arnaud, you joined Bash a few years ago, and since you arrived, 200 stores have been opened, and this is an international success with more than 50% of your business now, which is done internationally. So we are very curious to understand how you did. So we will start with you, Marie, and can you explain us the genesis of Maison Fragile, and maybe you can start by explaining us why you choose this name, Maison Fragile, first.
Hello, everybody. First, thank you, Pierre and Nathalie, for your invitation. We are very happy to share our creation and our spirit. Well, Maison Fragile, it's a story, of family affair. We are a French tableware company, traditional but very different. It's a family affair because my grandparents work in the porcelain industry in the 30s, and my grandmother has got a small but famous shop in Paris, in the Rue de Paradis, with a very good selection of luxury porcelain, luxury crystal. And we, in our family, we don't have any. It's life, but we have got many pieces of art, and we grew up with beautiful porcelain. So we love art and we love gastronomy. My uncle and my father has got a restaurant. My little cousin is chef, and we love eat, and we love plate, and we love beautiful plate, and we love eat well in beautiful plate. It's very important. And 4 years ago, we decided to relaunch the story with family and friends by a crowdfunding. And today, my father is my accountant, my little brother is my graphic designer, and my uncle is our lawyer. And hopefully, we have many friends who help us, and today there are Joanna and Isabel in the room. Thank you, girl, for your support every day. Yes, we can clap them. Thank you. And concerning the name Maison Fragile, it's like the name is Maison Fragile. It's the house of fragility. Fragility for us, it's like a motto, because love, life, earth, Mother Nature, health, porcelain, beauty, everything is fragile. And in our company, we say that beauty is fragile and fragile is precious. Love is precious, life is precious, earth is precious. That's why for us, fragile is not a weakness, it's a strength, like a superhero. James Bond is better because we know he knows his weakness, but he knows also his strength. So he's more strong with his weakness. And that's why with our fragility mindset, we try to be involved, with engagement and respect with every people that we work and we develop our company.
So then I had a question about your underlying values and engagements that really structure your development.
Yes. First of all, we work with the best craftsmanship in Limoges. We are very lucky to have one of the best quality because we work with them. And like with them, we are totally crazy with details. And you know, luxury is details. And also, we work with them, and it's not, we work in Made in France, but it's not a conservatism vision, not at all. It's because we are very engaged with this craftsmen, because for us, they are the best. If we want to make a beautiful bag with leisure, you're going in Italy, so porcelain in France. We work with young artists, calligraphers, singers, photographers, but every time alive, it's very important for us, and engaged, because has got a vision, a mindset, and they got some creation, you know, very intense and very fragile, because art is also fragile. And we work sometimes with audacious artists like Sonia Sief, because we are the only one company who put a nude woman on a plate, like the collection with Sonia Sief. All this engagement give us something, you know, very strong, and that's why we are a small, very small supplier of the French Élysée Palace, thanks to Guillaume Gomez, who was the chef of the Élysée, and now is the French ambassador of the French gastronomy.
Excellent. So, just the last question, maybe, we talked a lot about CSR this morning. And you have a lot of unique action in this domain. Can you tell us about them?
We don't have unique action. We have got many actions. You know, CSR is in our DNA because we are like this, and I built my company like this. So Limoges Porcelain is not very profitable. So if you don't work with passion, don't do that. We are engaged first in Made in France, because when we work for Made in France, it's also a local action. We are engaged also with craftsmanship, because we work with them, we challenge them every time. We try every time to give a modernism to this work, because if we are ringard, youngers don't go into this type of work. And we have another engagement. We are totally engaged in inclusivity. We work with people syndrome. We work with Down syndrome people. The name in France is trisomique. And they work in a restaurant in Paris. The name is Le Reflet. And we propose to them to draw their own collection of plates. So they draw their own collection. And you can see the collection on the restaurant, and you can buy it. And because all the benefits of this plate are reversed to them. For next year, we have another project in inclusivity. We work with a young designer. The name is Pauline Androlus. Many talents of this girl. And she works with blind people. And we launched a big collection with tableware and tablecloths. And the name of this collection is Positive, because it got volume. Yeah, it's my movie. It's at the big. It's got volume, you know, because it's more easier for them to eat, and they don't want to eat in plastic. And it's also a good way for inclusivity.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you.
I will now interview you. Pierre Arnaud, so some people may wonder why Bash is participating to a luxury event. And first of all, I would like to ask you, after reminding us the genesis of Bash, what is accessible luxury?
I think accessible luxury, first of all, is a reality. It's a market. It's 10% of the textile fashion market today. So it's as big as the luxury market. It's 115, 120 billion euro worldwide. It's also a segment that was born a long time ago. First of all, mainly male business, very statutory, based on logo. If I say Polo Ralph Lauren, you see the logo actually became bigger and bigger because the status was more and more important. Then it became feminine, based in Europe. And the business model of the brand that started was what we could call a look-alike business model, so create the illusion of luxury. And then there is a new wave that's been arising recently, which you could call the self-achievement wave. Brands that have their own personality, their own DNA, and you don't buy into those brands because you want to pretend that you are somebody or you want to look like somebody. You buy those brands because you want to just be yourself. You just want to, to enjoy buying. And this is very much what Bash is about. It's been one of the first mover of this trend. And so also the affordable luxury is born from the fact that the boundaries between the different facets of your life, home, office, and let's say weekends, have disappeared. So you have more opportunity to buy a product that is a sustainable product and to pay for it because you know you're going to have many occasions to wear it. And that's very much what is driving this market today. In terms of growth, I think this is a market that is very dynamic and is predicted to be very dynamic, especially in China. More or less, we expect this market to grow about 5% in the next 5 years, and probably between 8 to 10% in China in the next 5 years as well. Well, this brand was created by two women, Barbara Boccarin and Sharon Krief, and it's very much a friendship story. So the brand is very much about, I would say, freedom, optimism, sorority. And it grew quite fast, in France. El Catterton, which is a private equity fund that is a merge of a joint venture between LVMH and Catterton, took a share. And we decided from them to work on 4 pillars. One pillar is around product, one pillar is around digital. A third of our business is digital now. A pillar around the branding and a pillar around the international business expansion. And it's true that we grew fast. We multiplied ourselves by 6 between 15 and today. And to address the market, so we went internationally pretty early stage. We were a small company when we went international. In 2016, we opened in all European markets. In 2017, we opened directly in China and in the US. And the company was below 100 million. So it was a big stretch for the company to do that. And we really wanted to embrace the whole market, So actually there are 3 channels in our business, so wholesale business, retail business, and digital business. And to embrace the totality of the market, you have to be able to really run those 3 channels at the same time in a very synergistic way. First of all, because it allows you to have more customer touch points. Second, and it's a pretty tactical point, but it's quite important, you leverage down your cost of acquisition compared to models that are purely online. And then, you can capture the whole market. If you take about the US, for instance, if you don't do wholesale, it's 1/3 of the market that is out of your perspective. So if you do wholesale, you do retail, and you do digital, you embrace the whole market. So that's why we created this business model that is very omni-channel, very synergetic, against all, I would say, trends, because we heard a lot about retail is king, and then we heard about digital is king. I believe actually the omni-channel business model is a winning business model in the future? Well, Barbara and Sharon, when they created the brand, it was actually very simple, and as always, what is very simple is sometimes a great idea. They wanted to say, you know, clothing as a meaning. Stop, you know, and today we hear a lot of criticism about that, but clothing has a meaning. It has in your life, it can help you have impact. If you wear a dress in the morning and you feel beautiful, the way you will behave, the way you will impact around you will be different during the day. So they really created the brand with this idea: how can I do good by doing clothing? And so they really created the brand around those values. And starting from that, we expanded with the idea that you know, we should return back to the society through charities. That we should also, of course, work on our I would say our CSR sustainable program, which we worked very hard since 2017.
I just want that every people in the room and every time, if when you take a plate or a mug in a restaurant, just look like this and just verify this if many funds. So thanks to Lutetia, because it's Limoges. It's not us, but it's Limoges. Thank you.
Thank you.